This is the Hog Central Podcast, sponsored by the Landers Auto Group. And now, here's your host, Steve Sullivan.
Welcome to the Hog Central Podcast, and we're shorthanded again today. We're missing the walk-on wonder from Wabaseka, Ernie Murray. Hope to have him back next week. Like some teams, Coach Z, we battle the early games without a full-strength roster.
Yeah, exactly, Sully. You always got an injury or an illness. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready to move on, just like in football. Next man up. So here we are, but we're in good place.
You're playing a little at less than 100% today. That voice is bugging you, right?
Yeah, it really started last Thursday. That's when we traveled to New York, and I could tell then I was battling a little bit and never really felt too bad. You know, his throat was irritated just for a day or so, but really never a full sore throat. But, man, Friday, Saturday, I was battling on my throat. I told somebody on Sunday I thought my throat was about 28% effective. I think now it's about 35%, so it's gotten a little bit better.
Z, you're a trooper. I want to quote a famous hog philosopher, Pat Bradley. He says, don't be a prisoner of the moment. And listening to Coach Cal after the game, I liked how he looked at the big picture, that you've played 5 big opponents. You're 2-3, could easily be 4-1. He still feels like he has a good team, and he's happy with what they did.
Yeah, I got to visit with him right after the game, probably 6 or 7 minutes after the final buzzer. He talked to the team for about 5 minutes, and then we did our post-game radio, and immediately he said, I still love this team. And he knows that he's got what we think is going to be a great basketball team. I think deep down he was a little disappointed because, as he said in some of the interviews with the rest of the Arkansas media Saturday night, that, that he wished we'd have played better, and it was the first time all season, Sully, that he felt like that we weren't going to win. After the game got going, he just had the sense we're not going to win this game. And he does not say that very often at all. Even if we fall behind by double figures, I think he's a coach that feels like we're going to win. And so it was surprising to hear Coach say that. And but we're down 8 at the halftime, and had been down 21 points. So I'm sitting there at half thinking, man, we're going to win this game. We've already made up 13 points, but we just couldn't ever make up enough ground. And Houston, I thought, was outstanding in this game, Sully. They shot it so well. They played with a swagger. We saw that tough defense, and we ate that defense up a little bit. We scored, the 85 points is impressive.
Yeah.
But we had too many turnovers the first 10 minutes of the game, and our defense was not good against their offense. They shot the cover off the ball 52%. They made 2 more baskets than us in the first half. They made 2 more baskets than us. So really right now, as he said, Houston was better than us. They proved to be 2 baskets each half better than the Razorbacks.
Yeah, but I think he scheduled them for a reason, because you don't want to face them or a defense like that, intensity like that, for the first time in the NCAA tournament. And you could see early it was a shock for Arkansas. I mean, they didn't really know how to function against Houston for the first 10 minutes. But that's going to serve you well when you get to the tournament, because you're not going to see any team as intense and in your face and just attacks like Houston.
That's a great point. I do think that he wanted to play the toughest schedule he could. Now we've got some bye games, of course. You can always have a tougher schedule. You'd have to go play 13 high majors. But to play this game showed that Coach wants to play someone good on a neutral site. I love the neutral sites because that's what the NCAA tournament is. That's what the SEC tournament is. And I think this only prepares us better for that first and second round game, for that Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games, because we've done it against Texas Tech, we've done it against Duke, and now we've done it against Houston. And those are outstanding teams. Houston was just great in this game, as we said earlier. They shot it so much better than they've been shooting it. They got 5 3-pointers off their bench. And even Coach Sampson, when you listen to him in the 2 months of this season, he's not been happy with the production of his bench. But they get 5 critical 3-pointers from those guys on the bench. Our bench ended up outplaying them because we got 20 points and 9 rebounds from Malik Ewan, and Billy Richmond played very well. But still, we needed to probably take greater advantage of Houston's bench. We weren't able to do that. But to your point, I think Coach Cal's very happy that we played this game. He'd rather go into Christmas with a little bit more of a jolly good feeling, right, for all of us winning a game. But I don't think Coach Cal, I can just tell you, he's not losing any sleep over losing to Houston.
Yeah, one game, James Madison, before you start conference play. Malik Thomas has to get his mojo back. They need his offense, and Houston locked him up. I did like that in the second half he showed some life and adjusted and had some offense in the second half, but they can't have him going just not being a factor offensively.
No, just about 4 games ago, Malik was averaging 18 points a game. Malik was shooting about 50% from the floor. And and you fast forward four games later, he's shooting 37%. And now that 18 points a game is 14 points a game. He's definitely been impacted. I love the beautiful right corner 3 he made on the inbounds play. I thought that was important, but overall he didn't play as well as we need Malik to play. But he's confident. I got to meet his brother at the Knicks game the night before the game. His brother had you could tell, a pretty motivated personality and had a strong belief in Malik. And I think Malik's going to be great in SEC play. He's got a chance to be an SEC. He has a chance to be all freshman SEC. I don't think he'll be the SEC freshman of the year. His teammate will be, but he could also be a freshman All-American, which it's not easy to do that. And we've had some great Razorbacks be freshman All-Americans. We got a chance to have 2 of them. But he has not played as well the last 4 games. He hadn't shot it as well. His shot selection's been tough at times. His defense has still been pretty good. His effort's been outstanding. He just has not made the shots. And also, Sullivan, remember when me and you were talking about Carter getting to the free throw line and that helped stir his game? We talked about that on the special, KATV basketball special, Unfinished Business. But that also applies to Malik. He's not been getting to the line as much. If it hadn't been for the game where he got to shoot 3 free throws off the foul, his free throws, he's been less and less and less. And he was a guy that was shooting 6, 7, 8 free throws a game.
Hey,
that has slowed down.
Though, don't we expect average freshmen to have ups and downs? We've been spoiled by Acuff, that he's played every game at this level. But most normal freshmen, even good freshmen, have some ups and downs.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Moses Moody had some games that weren't very good. He had a great freshman year. Nick Smith was hurt part of his freshman year. Some of the games he played, he was ineffective. Anthony Black was tremendous. But he had, if you look back on that season, he had 5 or 6 games he did not play well. I remember the Kentucky game at home we lost. He didn't play great. He'd been incredible in the win at Kentucky. But you're right. There's going to be some growing pains, and we are spoiled by Darius Acuff. 3 weeks in a row. And
that's insane.
He is the SEC Freshman of the Week.
And he's
that is unheard of.
The big dogs. He's at his best. I mean, he owned them on Saturday. One guy I was blown away by. He had an advantage inside because Tugler was in foul trouble, and that freshman could not keep up with them. But Malik Ewing had an advantage, and he was you talk about playing with the swagger. I think he got fouled 11 times. Now, he didn't hit his free throws. He's a pretty good free throw shooter. But we hadn't seen that version of Malik Ewing this year. And, boy, was he a force inside.
Yeah, that's the one that they recruited from Florida State, a guy that averaged 14 and 8. He went into this game averaging 7 and 4.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he averaged 14 and 8. Now he's averaging 7 and 4. What's wrong with him? He's got to get going, and I think that's what Now, he was good against Louisville, but other than that, he has struggled. But 20 and 9, as you said, drew 11 fouls. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to guard him. It's like they hadn't watched film of him. And he had 11. They had not seen him do those moves. And now he only fouled twice. So he's +9 in the fouls. The 9 rebounds was big. and that helped the team. And he was also a little bit more aggressive defensively. He used his hands. He tried to block shots. He rebounded the basketball with a vengeance, and he played like he had emotion. He had one of the and ones, Sully, in front of the Arkansas bench, and he scored it. And Tiger Woods had never punched as hard as Malik Ewan punched with the joy and exuberance of getting an and one. We need that more and more and more. Nothing against Nick Pringle. Yeah. Nick's a good defensive player. Nick can rebound. Malik Ewan all around is a better basketball player than Nick. Now, I love starting Nick because he works his butt off in practice, great attitude. He's a leader. He's got a great mindset. He smiles. He's earned a chance to start. But Malik Ewan's a guy that's got a chance to really eat up a ton of minutes as we roll into conference play, because I voted him all SEC preseason.
Yeah.
And before the Houston game, I'm like, man, shouldn't have voted you preseason anything, because you averaging 7 and 4. But he has been, I'm kind of kidding there when I say that, but he has been getting a little bit better and a little bit better, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get this great game out of him in New Jersey. Malik Ewan, very, very talented. Sully, did you see the one where he went up under the basket and he flipped it inside?
He's a basketball player. I mean, he can take it the length of the floor. He's got good skills. Hey, net rating. I'm puzzled by the net rating. You would think Arkansas, the schedule they've played and the way they've competed against this schedule, and they've played some neutral site games, you'd think they'd be rated higher than they are. I think they're like 7th in the SEC and 26th or 27th overall. But I think it almost values wins more than who you schedule.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is today, but I know before the Houston game, the Friday before the Houston game, I checked, and the net was 20. Not bad, not bad. And if you're saying 28, it drops some. You got to have Texas Tech winning helped the Razorbacks, because we beat Texas Tech. All that matters. Now also a team that beat us lost, which was Duke. So it all kind of balances out in the long run. I do think Sully, I was talking to my nephew Ben, he was complaining about the respect level and the net and some of those things as well, but I do think some of the bye games, you need them to be decent too.
Yeah.
And Winthrop's been good and Samford has been good, but some of the others have not been good, and they've struggled and they've had bad records and they hadn't won as much. So to me, it should all be about Duke and Michigan State and Texas Tech and Houston. That should what it be all about, because at the end of the day, that's the big games. But the fact that you beat a Southern or a Jackson State and they haven't won any games, that comes into play just a little bit.
Hey.
But once we get into that conference, everybody we play in the league is going to be top 30, top 40. The bad teams in our league are top 80.
Yeah. How much do you know about
that's
Vandy?
A great thing.
How much you know about Vandy? They're 12-0. I think they're 6th or 7th in the net. They beat St. Mary's, the Gales, who are 10-2 by 24. Are they for real? Do they have a Diego Pavias basketball version stuck somewhere?
Diego Pavia, he changed college athletics, didn't he, with that JUCO rule? Two things on Vandy, Sully, before we talk about this year's Vandy. I thought last year Vandy was clicking off all these wins. Mark Bynum, good coach there. But I think that when we went to Vandy and played them like in February, you're like, oh, well, this is supposed to be this great team. They weren't that athletic. They weren't real big. Remember, we just took the fight to them. Yeah. We blew them out at their place. And then after that, they kind of went on a reel, and they didn't win any the rest of the season, and they were knocked out early, and they didn't do anything. But they had a great regular season record until the last 3 weeks of the season. So I was surprised last year that Vandy had this great record, and then when we played them, I was like, this coach has done a great job, because he's got some nice players, but they don't look like, like they were like a top 20 team at that time. So that was last year. This year he's added some pieces. He got some key guys back. He's a great basketball coach. I really think I think he's a very, very good basketball coach. He wins. He knows what he's doing. I don't think that they've played a good, they beat Lipscomb, which is an inner city game for them, and they won at Central Florida. That sounds like a good win. Central Florida's now struggled. They beat Eastern Kentucky. They beat Pine Bluff. They beat Texas Southern. They beat Western Kentucky. They beat VCU. They beat St. Mary's. They beat SMU. They beat UCA. They're playing all the Arkansas teams.
Hey, with their 6th in the net rating, something's doing this working.
Yeah, yeah, and then but they got a good win against Memphis.
Yeah.
And I thought Memphis isn't great.
Yeah.
But to win it to win that was on the road, Sully.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now Vandy playing in Memphis, that's a big game. That was the first game that they won all season. That I was like, okay, yeah. Vandy must be the real deal. I do think the jury's out a little bit on them, Sully.
The danger with someone like that is they start to think they're good. They've rallied up some wins, and they start conference play good. They could be dangerous. I want to talk about Brazil. 2 early fouls, and pretty much wasn't involved in the game. And some of that was the Houston defense. But he's got to get to the point where he kind of fights through that adversity. And is still a factor in the game, where he wasn't much of a factor on Saturday.
So I think we talked about this on the special with you about Brazil, just what you said. If you don't score 20 on us, he's had these games of 25 points, 10 rebounds, 26 points, 11 rebounds, when you're like, man, he looks like a top 10 pick. We need him to be great when he scores 10. We need him to be great in all areas when he scores 4. And the other night, he just didn't play very well in New Jersey. He got the 2 fouls. But, Sully, you get 5. Now, Coach did the right thing. He's too important for us to get a 3rd foul on him in the first half. Get him out. Get him right and be ready to go. You go have a dominating second half. And he just didn't do it. But he only took 3 shots. We need that young man shooting more than 3 times.
Yeah.
He still got some minutes. It's not like he played 4 minutes in the game. Against Houston, he played 21 minutes and 29 seconds. But he's got to shoot more than 3 times. He rebounded okay in the 21 and a half minutes. He got 6 boards, but he didn't get any steals. He didn't get any assists. He made 3 foul shots.
Yeah. How concerned were you defensively that when the game was on the line, Houston just took it to the hole? I mean, their 3 guards just wore us out.
I thought it was a little bit concerning that as they were bleeding the clock and it was an 8-point game, 10-point game, that they just spread it.
Yeah.
And they didn't run any sophisticated offense. They weren't running the flex. They weren't running down screen action. They weren't running dribble drive. It was spread it out, maybe set a ball screen, maybe set a little screen on the side, let a guy come off. But it was very simple offense. But it was based on the fact that they had a stud like we got.
Yeah.
Kingston Flemings. That 6'4" guard, he wore number 4. Him being able to beat us time and time again off the dribble. And the only way they could beat us was for Flemings to be able to do that. He went out with his 4th foul, and we were down like 12. I said, shoot, we can still win. Because they didn't really have any other ball handlers. Milo Shuzan can handle it a little bit. Sharp can handle it a little bit. But they're not true point guards. And Fleming, he's everything to Houston. Man, he is really, really good. That's why you love it when kids don't opt out. Like Kansas, some of them have had guys opt out. Man, this kid ain't opting out of nothing. Darius Acuff is not going to opt out of nothing. They want to win, they want to play, and they want to have a big year in college. But Flemings, man, he was the real deal. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Best guard we have faced this year, any classification.
Yeah. Sampson said something about Acuff. Said what separated him from a lot of point guards is he shoots the ball so well. And that's not the case with a lot of point guards that deliver the ball. He shoots not only 3-pointers well, his mid-range jumper is really good.
Got a great mid-range. It's automatic. Like Kingston Flemings, he can't shoot a 3. He's not a very good 3-point shooter. And he don't shoot it like Acuff. Now, Kingston Flemings is a tremendous player. But Darius can do it all. I can't believe that he's 3 weeks in a row in this tough league that you are the freshman of the week. And he may win it a lot more this season. Now, also, when you look at our teams in our league, we got 7 or 8 teams in our league. They don't even play a freshman.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
And it's
portal
weird.
Guys. All portal guys.
They're all portal guys. They want these older 22. They want the Nick Pringles, the Malik Ewans, Justin Smiths, Jalen Tates. That's what people are looking for in the portal, and they're just not really looking as much to the young freshmen coming out of high school.
You know what continues to amaze me at these neutral site games is how Razorback fans turn out. Even in New Jersey, I know it wasn't a great crowd, but it seemed to be a pro Razorback crowd. And it seems like anytime we get in these neutral sites, even you played Texas Tech, it was probably an equal trip for both schools, seemed to dominate that venue. And it was a pro Razorback crowd again Saturday in New Jersey.
It was 6,246 there is what the promoter said, so that means there was probably 5,246 there. And never met an athletic director, deputy AD, promoter. Nobody doesn't go stretch them. It's just a couple spots, And I was surprised that the size was as small as it was.
Yeah.
But we had some darn Razorback fans there again. Chicago, we had more than Duke. Dallas, we had more than Baylor last year, more than Texas Tech this year. The one team that played us even, to me, on the crowd was last year in Kansas City. Illinois had as many fans as we did. But we had so many more fans than Houston. No offense, Houston to New York's a long ways, but so is Menifee, Arkansas to New York is a long ways as well. I thought our fans were incredible, the ones that came. I would say out of that 6,246, had to be 3,000 to 4,000 Razorback fans.
That's crazy in New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Now, Sully, it was a smaller crowd for us even than it was in Madison Square Garden. We had more in Madison Square Garden last year. For those of you listening that went to New York City last year, there were more last year than there was this year, but it was closer to Christmas. Tickets were not cheap, and you got to get a lot of our fans stayed in Manhattan, Sully, and that was almost an hour to get over there. It's only like 13 miles, but depending on traffic, depending on that Lincoln Tunnel, the quickest we ever got over there was like 35 minutes. One time when we went from New Jersey to Manhattan, it took us an hour and 23 minutes.
Wow.
And so,
aren't you glad you live in Arkansas?
Man, there's no. I think the Lincoln Tunnel. I don't even know how you build that. It is amazing architecture, engineering. There are so many smart people in this world, but I am glad we don't have a Lincoln Tunnel between Beaver Lake and Fayetteville.
Hey, I want to thank Landers Auto Group for sponsoring this podcast. Good folks over there. Hey, if you had to give Arkansas a grade for this preseason, A to F, A being the best, what grade do you give them right now? Where we were at the beginning of the year, and now grade them right now. I give them. I give them a B+ to an A-. I think they've.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say B+, and I'm gonna go with you. Let's just say A-, so nobody with the basketball gets mad at us. So we'll go A+. I think the schedule. Was an A. I wish we'd had maybe another big home game for the fans, but other than that, the schedule was tough. It was good. I loved us going to Michigan State, man, and playing a roadie.
The two games, to me, Michigan State and Houston, they prepare you for the tournament because they defend like no other teams, and they attack. I mean, you're not going to meet any two tougher teams than Michigan State and Houston.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's as tough as it comes physically.
Tough. My grade would be higher, but Knox and Brazil's had some great moments. But Knox has been kind of a slow starter, and we expected much more out of him on a consistent basis. And Brazil's had some incredible games, but we just want to, see him contribute every game.
I mean, yes, Trevin is 55% from the floor. Buddy, shoot it more than 3 times.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to shoot it more than 3 times. You shoot 55% make. He's shooting 46% makes from the 3. Buddy, you got to shoot some 3s because you can shoot. And his free throws, which last year were terrible, this year he's at 80%, which is fantastic. And so he's such a good player,
This is a guy
such
that got
a
in the
talented.
gym. Obviously got in the gym.
He got in the gym and he worked and he got coached and he listened and he grew up. And I do think he's a product of, I don't think in Missouri, NIL was just getting going. I don't know if he really was able to profit. But the 4 years Arkansas always made money.
Yeah.
And I do think that he's a young man that as he entered this last season, Sully, he's like, I've done pretty well at Arkansas. I don't, the amounts we're not going to talk about. But he's made some good money in 4 years. I think he wants to continue making good money. And for him to do that, he needs to make an NBA roster. That's the only way he's going to continue to make what he's been making. And so I think he's very motivated in that regard. I know he wants to win. I know he likes his teammates. I think he likes the thrill of victory like great players do. But this young man knows I've got great potential, more potential than a lot of people. For me to meet my goals, for me and my family, I've got to reach my potential better, and he has done that.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Hog Central Podcast. New episodes drop Tuesday on YouTube or listen on the go. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every major podcast platform.